Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, November 6th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Thank you very much for joining me for our November 2025 market outlook yesterday afternoon. We put together 2 hours of chart candy for you to watch. You can see the video in the description below right here. The link is there. Take a look. Let me know what you think. A ton of opportunities that we talked about across so many different markets, from futures to crypto to nuclear and AI. We touched on a bunch of topics, hit on a couple of requests here. Let me know what you think. The video and the recording in the description below. All right, taking a look here at the ES in the daily time frame. You'll see right here a little bit higher. The previous session with a nice little reversal back up, sitting on highs the entire day until the very end where it fell back down. And that right there gave us a little indication of weakness here. You can still kind of see this is your previous 6-day range. You break down. Really good response here, but didn't just finish the day strong. Instead here we're pulling back to the previous session's midpoint, holding. And it's currently a low range day, just 37 points of range right now. That's half of average. We could continue to see a little bit of a back and forth digestive day, and bulls need to keep 6,800 bid. Any failure through there to close below yesterday's midpoint would be quite bearish near term, and instead you want bulls to keep that area bid, and for price to close higher. That could get us going back up toward the FOMC key level, 69.35 half, over the next several days, if that's the case. So right now, after this pullback, can bulls keep this thing bid for a continuation up into the 69.35s? Got to keep 6,800 bid. Looking at the NQ, this one's at about, let's see, 49, 50% of ADR here. Heading into the RTH Open, looks very much like the ES right now, pulled back toward the previous session's midpoint, a little bit of a bounce, kind of a check mark start to the day, or at least a W style start to the day at the moment, with a double bottom here in overnight and pre-market trading, but still a low range session as well. It could continue to be range bound with a slight upward bias, but this one also fell late in the day yesterday when it could have held on. It could have closed beyond the mid to really get this thing going. So while yesterday was good here, it could have been a little bit stronger on the finish. And today, to have a lower value relationship with the bullish close, you would expect early weakness to be defended for a check mark move higher, but watching the previous session's highs for any signs of failure or rejection. All right, looking at, let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude with a big time compression here. You can look over the last 10 sessions. This is super compressed. Add today, that's 11 sessions of compression here within a downward flow. This has been a downward trending market for a while here. You can see kind of, we back it up since those recent highs, downward sloping channel. And now we have formed a compression here after reaching kind of the top end of this channel. And that type of compression can tend to lead to a big time downside break and rotation. And this amount of compression here has at least 6 points of range. At least 6 points of range built into it. And of course, if we break down through that zone, we could see a breakdown that takes us 6 points lower. That'll take us down anywhere between, say, 53 and 55. Somewhere in there could be in play on the next continuation to the downside upon a break from this range. So right now, still building energy within the range, but very soon could get a breakout and a move away from that FOMC key level. Looking at gold, likewise here, very similar price action. Here's your FOMC key level from October 29th, and you see nothing but compression around it right now. That is a significantly compressed range as well. We could easily see 250 points to 300 points of expansion out of this range. Is it going to be to the upside or the downside? I've mentioned before, obviously we've seen quite a bit of strength. We could easily make a bounce if this thing can continue to hold 4,000. But lately we haven't found a strong low. And when you haven't found a strong low, you tend to continue to seek lower price discovery until you get a strong low for a bounce. So leaning down a little bit in the near term until we see a strong low. but admitting this compression can break easily in either way, and you're looking at 250 to 300 points of range once we get expansion. So watch this range very closely for the next transition day. Looking at the YM, here's the YM inside day, narrow range, 38% heading into the RTH Open. This one, again, here's your previous compression here. We break down a little bit of a pullback, not bad, but you can definitely see it doesn't have quite the juice that it's had before on a turnaround. A little less participation on this backside here at the moment. Do we need a little bit more of a pullback? Compared to the ES and the NQ, this is a relatively modest pullback. It's holding 47 big time. Do we need to test a little bit below 47, recover and go? Or is this thing just going to hold 47 and try to make a run to 48, 49? 47 continues to be the big time level to watch. And if we see a transition, say we fail here over the next several days and transition back below 47s, you're going to have 46 and 45 that could be very real targets up ahead. Still in the uptrend overall, so even if we get a deep pullback to 46, it could still be a buying opportunity until proven otherwise. But definitely keeping an eye on 47K here. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Previous session, Bitcoin, 2 days, hit prices below 100K here. The previous low, 99,250. Yesterday's low, 99,285. A good reversal to close back above that prior day's midpoint, closing back above yearly VWAP, closing back above that key range low. A lot of things happened in the previous session. Good back-to-back high range bars. Good looking reaction on a first test bounce off the 100K level. As I've mentioned before, the 25,000 point levels are significant in this market, from 50K to 75K to 100K to 125K. Those levels have been tremendous. You can even take it all the way back down to 25K on our original retest ideas off 25K when it tested twice there. These have been phenomenal 50K increments, and yesterday was another indication of how significant these levels are. It held it together. That doesn't mean we rally right away from it. We could get a bounce, we can get a retest and come try it again and then make a more meaningful move. But this reaction at the very least could open up a midpoint retest of the recent impulse drop, which takes you back to about 108s perhaps in that zone, maybe 109. So we could have some short-term directional conviction. If we get that move, we likely at least retest the FOMC key level at 112.275. So this could be a good short-term opportunity and a long-term and a medium-term opportunity off this level. But bulls do not want to see a transition day through 100K because 75 could be a very real target down the road. All right, looking at ETH, this one gave up the 3,700 level. We talked about that level being a big-time market structure level from recent price action. We've talked about this large expanding range and how to fail up here at the top end of the range would at least rotate us back toward the middle. And we've gotten back toward the middle, back toward 3,000. Do we get another move that takes us a bit lower? Back toward 1,400 or 1,000, this lower half of the range. Got to continue to watch how it plays out here off the 3,000 to 3,200 level. That's the initial buy zone here for this one as well, given the recent, let's see right here, the recent market structure in the zone. You have 2,800 just below, which is a significant market structure edge. You have 200-day moving average and a rising yearly VWAP. This could be a zone here where we could begin to find a turning point, but you fail through here and it opens up some more downside, very similar to the 100K level in Bitcoin. So continuing to watch this short term, very short term. If this is a good low for a very short term opportunity, you have from this high to this low returning back to the midpoint, which would be back toward about 3,750, and then you have a shot to go retest the FOMC key level from below at 4,000. So at most here you may be getting a move back toward 4,000, but still been in a downward trending kind of mode since early October. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.